All right, let's get the meeting started. Everybody, please stand up, remove your hats. Mr. Boda, can you please start us off?
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What? Yes. Okay. Ooh, young lady, how are you today? In the event of an emergency, the proper method to exit the council chambers is through the 3 doors in the rear of the room. I've been reading this for 4 years, and I think it's so funny that we have to explain people how to go out of an exit. Instead, I should say, if you have to exit, remain calm, walk outside, go straight out of the building, and then run, 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 run. In the meantime, remain calm. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign on the white sheets right here in front of me, and we will call you when the time comes. Any cell phones, please turn them off. They're not only annoying, but they're not needed. Anybody needs to make a phone call, please go outside, make your phone calls, or receive your phone calls. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
Javik? Here. Brown? Mohammed?
Here.
Cosby?
Present.
Roman?
Here.
Strano?
Here.
Yemekaitis?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
She's excused.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here. Let's start with approving the minutes of the October 16th, 2018 regular meeting. Need a motion?
Council President, I make a motion for the approval of the October 16th regular meeting. Ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Here. Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey? Mr. Alvarez, I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay, does anybody know where the mayor is? Joe?
No, I do not. He was still in the back room when I came.
Well, we have some presentations, but I want to wait for the mayor, so what I want to do is, let's go into ordinances from the October 16, 2018 meeting. We have 2 ordinances here, and I would like to put a motion to remove ordinance 62-71.
Council President, I make a motion to remove ordinance 62-71, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Hold on. The motion was Mr. Roman,
Yes.
and the second was?
No, I made the motion, Mr. Roman second.
No, I made the motion, George.
No.
George, I made the motion.
Didn't anybody second it?
Yeah, Michelle
And
did.
who was the second?
Michelle.
Michelle second. Oh, you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
No.
Yemekaitis?
No.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to jump back to presentations. Mayor, welcome. Mayor, can I have you come to the front, please, with Councilwoman Ormond? And I would like to call Union County Teacher of the Year of 2018, Ms. Barbara Brady, to the front, please. Give her a hand.
Mayor?
You have it, right?
I have it.
Mayor.
I have it.
Good evening. First of all, I'm going to wait for the mayor to come down. And I would just like to say to everyone that it gives me such pleasure to have our one and only Barbara Brady here receiving recognition for being Union County's Teacher of the Year. Recognition and awards are not new to this fabulous lady. She's absolutely wonderful, beautiful on the inside as well as on the outside. She's phenomenal with the students. And students that are good dancers become great dancers. And those who cannot dance at all somehow let the music and the movement fill their soul, and they become good dancers as well. Barbara loves the kids. She absolutely loves them, and it shows with everything that she does for them. So I'm honored and I'm privileged to be able to read this proclamation that we have for her. And I'm so glad to see her family out here. So we have a resolution honoring Barbara Brady for her being named 2018-2019 Union County Teacher of the Year. Whereas Barbara Jude Brady was born and raised in Linden, New Jersey, and graduated from Kane College of New Jersey in 1995 with a Bachelor of Arts in Health and Physical Education. Barbara currently holds a Master's in the Art of Teaching, a Supervisor Certificate, and is the Linden High School Health and Physical Education Department Chairperson. And whereas Mrs. Brady in 1998 began her Linden teaching career at McManus Middle School, and the following year was assigned to Linden High School, where she taught physical education, dance, and to choreograph the spring musicals. And whereas in 2001, she established a full-time dance program at Linden High School that now has over 150 students enrolled who perform in an annual spring dance concert. The LHS Dance Company has performed throughout the state of New Jersey since 1998, performing for special needs children, as well as the annual New Jersey Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance Teachers Convention. And whereas Mrs. Brady has also worked as a professional dancer and has worked with Broadway shows such as Cats and Jerome Robbins' Broadway, she has also performed with the New Jersey Ballet Company, the Joffrey Ballet, and the New Jersey State Opera. She has produced, directed, and/or choreographed over 65 shows since 1992 and is a co-founder and president of Mystic Vision Players. And now, therefore, it be resolved that the mayor and the council of the city of Linden do hereby wish to acknowledge and congratulate Barbara Jude Brady on her being named Union County Teacher of the Year 2018-2019, and be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the minutes of the council of the city of Linden, and that a copy hereof be presented to Barbara Jude Brady in recognition of her, I'm going to add a word, awesome and great achievements. Would you like to have your parents come up to take pictures? And my mom, come on, Mom.
I'm just going to add my 2 cents in here. Yes, she is an awesome teacher, undisputed. But I will say this, there's a few members on the governing body, myself included, who I would say, for lack of better words, have 2 left feet. So we could probably use a few lessons from you.
We need dance lessons and camera lessons. Solo lessons. Okay.
Oh, now you are facing me.
Do we have any 8-year-olds in the building?
I want smiles, folks. Okay, there you go. One more.
Thank you. I will, thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Congratulations.
At this, Mayor, stay there, please. We'd like to, with the mayor, Mrs. Hick is not here, Mr. Tandul, and members of the Shade Tree Commission, please to come forward. Oh, Mr. Tandul has a presentation. Oh, presentation, okay.
Just very briefly, this is our 12th year as Tree City USA. We have to meet 4 criteria. We have to have a shade tree commission, a tree care ordinance, a tree budget equal to $2 or more per capita, and an Arbor Day proclamation or celebration. We actually had a celebration at School 1 this year. We planted a linden tree out there. Kids were involved and came out. It was great. We're going to try to do something again at one of the schools this year. I want to thank the mayor and the council, past and present, for all their help in making our city a more beautiful place and supporting our community forestry. And I also want to thank all the residents because you support it with your tax dollars and encouragement. Trees clean the air, they reduce runoff, improve mental and physical health, improve shade and wind protection, increase property values, and beautify the place where we live, work, and play. I also want to thank our shade tree commissioners, Joe Lindsay, Judy McCarthy, Renee Banks, and Ron Martins. I also want to do a special thank you to Mike Alexi and Bruce Meyer. They're both volunteer residents that have helped us with pruning. Mike especially, he's gone out with Ron. If you see the two crazy guys out on bicycles with vests, they're pruning. We actually went out this last week too. We went out into the 7th Ward with Judy and Ron, I'm sorry, not Ron, Bruce. And so if you see us pruning some small trees, you know why we're out there. Just a reminder, with the holiday season approaching, do as much decoration on your own property as you want, but not on the city trees. It's a liability issue. Also, please don't plant your own trees in the right-of-way. Consider that the right-of-way actually goes in 10 to 14 feet. In some places, it actually goes up to 14 feet. If you want a city tree, contact the mayor, council members, Shade Tree Commission. My email is on the website, and we'll try to get you a city tree. And just one last reminder that there's some new pests in New Jersey. We're going to get something on the website about that. It's the emerald ash borer, which goes after the ash trees, and the spotted lanternfly, which is going to be, could potentially be very devastating because it attacks a lot of different trees. So with that, it is my honor to present to the mayor and council our latest Tree City USA flag. And if maybe we can get a picture of everybody holding it. Let's get the right side out.
We're gonna have to get
Yeah, we'll have to get up in front here.
Get behind you guys. Come on.
Go get in the middle.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Mr. Temple, don't we keep the flag? Don't we keep the flag?
We're going to give it back. The other years, it seems to get lost, so we're going to hold on to it until we get it out.
Thank you, sir. Before I call the next proclamation, I was corrected about 10 times on the name. I hope I don't mess it up. Amen Foundation? Hey, there you go. Can you please come up?
Hello there, dear. How are you doing, my dear?
Good, how are you?
I can't complain for an old guy. Take it one day at a time, that's all. Hello there, sir. How are you today? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, all right. Hello, ladies. How we doing? Once again, good evening, everybody. Tonight we have a proclamation that we're going to be presenting because it's for Giving Tuesday. It's established as a National Day of Giving, and we have Ammon Labs, who has become a good corporate citizen here in Linden, and they've been in town for quite some time, and they actually purchased a building across the street in the behind the CVS. Now, that's a building that's sat there for years, and Ammon came along, they purchased the building, and now the building is, they're running out of space, actually. So we're very happy to have them there. They're good neighbors, and quite honestly, the owners have a heart as big as this building, every time I turn around, he's giving and doing something. So we're just thankful that someone of his stature and his nature has moved into our building. So thank you for coming to Linden.
Well, it's
Okay.
great to be here.
So I'm going to read this proclamation. It reads as, whereas Giving Tuesday was established as a national day of giving on the Tuesday following Thanksgiving, and whereas Giving Tuesday is a celebration of philanthropy and volunteerism where people give whatever they are able to give, and whereas Giving Tuesday is a day where citizens work together to share commitments, rally for their favorite cause, build stronger community, and think about other people. And whereas it is fitting and proper on Giving Tuesday and on every day to recognize the tremendous impact of philanthropy, volunteerism, and community service in the city of Linden, in the state of New Jersey. And whereas Giving Tuesday is an opportunity to encourage citizens to serve others throughout this holiday season and during other times of the year. And whereas the Amon Foundation be named the City of Linden's Giving Tuesday ambassadors because of their outstanding philanthropic contribution to individuals within our community and throughout the state of New Jersey, and supporting their mission of empowering individuals in addiction recovery to sustain long-term recovery and personal success, and to also support their Empowerment of Hero campaign. Now therefore be resolved that I, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden in the state of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim November 27, 2018 as Giving Tuesday in our city, and encourage all citizens to join together to give back to the community in any way that is personally meaningful. And it's signed by myself, Mayor Derek Armstead, and once again, want to thank Amon Labs and all that they continue to do for us in this community and throughout the state, because they don't just localize their giving right here to Linden. They do it everywhere. Again, like I told you, this man has a heart as big as this building, and God's going to bless him, continue to bless him.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Can we get a picture in front of the podium?
Let's get a picture.
You take the post, the pink,
Okay, let's move forward to ordinance and hearing. We have ordinance 6258, and when I hold it for further consideration, I would like to get a motion to table it to December 18th, 2018 meeting.
Council President, I make a motion to table ordinance 62-58, and I request a second.
Second.
Your mic-
Second.
Your mic wasn't on. It's all right.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? I'm sorry. Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ordinance 6278.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Traffic, Chapter 7, Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33 handicap parking regulation, 7-33.1A handicap parking on street. Add 2139 Dill Avenue, 1 space. Add 2515 Greer Avenue, 1 space.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communication received?
No, sir.
Does anybody wish to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move that the hearing be closed and ordinance 6278 be adopted and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown? Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6279?
Bond ordinance authorizing Brook storm, and sanitary sewer improvements and removal of underground storage tanks in and for the city of Linden, appropriating $330,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $313,500 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to be heard on this ordinance? May I have, yes, sir. Mr. Halloran, please come forward.
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. We're appropriating money for these sanitary sewers and everything else, but do we have bids out for the work or anything, or how do we know how much it costs?
Mrs. Sack, do you have the numbers for that?
Council President, what was the question?
What was the question?
Yes.
Okay, we're appropriating $333,000 for work, and I don't see where it was put out for bid.
No, what
So
this,
do we know exactly what it's gonna cost?
what the bond ordinance does is authorizes the expenditures. Once this bond ordinance passes, then there will be a separate resolution that will be awarding once they go to bid. Right now, this is not awarding any contract. This is just giving the authorization for the money to be spent. That's what the bond ordinance does. So our engineering department will do their due diligence, put out bids for various work that needs to be done. Sanitary sewers is a separate project from the underground storage tanks. And then once that goes to bid, then this will be the account that they will use in order to make that item come to fruition.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6279. Move for approval and request a second.
Second. I got
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Vice President already.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
yes,
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6280?
Bond ordinance authorizing various roadway improvements for the engineering department in and for the city of Linden, appropriating $2,766,500 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,122,425 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to be heard on this ordinance? Mr. Halloran, please.
Again, Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. I see a difference here in appropriation versus the bonds of like, what, 1.6 million? And, you know, again, I understand the part about the board, bonds needing to be taken care of, but does the city have that 1.6 million sitting around for this type of work?
This, Council President, may I
Okay,
answer?
yes,
The
please.
City of Linden was fortunate to receive grants for the local impact freight grant. These are two separate grants that the city received. So the bonds and notes authorized is less than what the total project cost, because we're using grant funds for a portion of that payment. That's why there's two different numbers.
That answers my question, and we do have the money sitting there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion that the hearing is closed and ordinance 6280 is adopted and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
yes,
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6281?
An ordinance regarding rental registration.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Anybody wants to be heard on this ordinance? Mr. Kaminsky, please.
Good evening. What exactly does this affect, and in what way? Number of units, registration of, what's the goal of this?
Mr. Antonelli, 6281, rental registration?
Thank you, Council President. This ordinance requires rental units to be registered with the city and inspected as permitted by state statute. The The city currently doesn't do that. This would implement a registration program. Landlords would have to register their property with the city, would have to fill out an application form, schedule an appointment for the dwelling unit to be inspected, and essentially receive a certificate of approval that would confirm that the dwelling unit conforms to all the housing codes.
Is this an annual registration or?
Correct. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's set up as an annual registration, sir.
And so is there, does this affect complexes of all size, or like 3 and units and below, are
Correct.
they exempt?
Right, I'll read you the specific language.
Sure, thank you.
It speaks to a dwelling unit, any room or suite or apartment, including any room, whether furnished or unfurnished, which is occupied or intended, arranged, or designed to be occupied for sleeping or dwelling purposes by one or more purposes. So that's the definition of a dwelling unit. It applies to, and I'm just looking at any rental unit in the city of Linden. Obviously, would not apply to an owner-occupied unit. For example, owner-occupied is defined as a portion of a rental facility that is considered owner-occupied if the owner makes his primary residence therein. A person may only have one primary residence. So it does apply to any residential rental unit.
Thank you.
Mr. Antonelli, is there any fee concerning with this?
Yes, there is, Council President. It's as indicated previously, there's a one-year term. The landlord will be required to fill out a form that would have basic information. In addition to that, as I indicated, the property would be inspected once a year prior to the certificate being issued. There's a section entitled Fees, 419-10. The annual registration fee would be as follows. Would be $100 per unit. Would include the inspection of the unit. If, for example, there was an issue with the plumbing or the electric or some other issue that would cause the inspector to have to come back at a time when that issue is addressed, there would be a re-inspection fee of $50. And any additional re-inspection after that would be $75.
Mr. Antonelli, one more question. I believe Mr. Kaminsky asked, how many apartments? Because the state takes care of 4 apartments or more, correct?
So what you have here is, you are correct, Council President, under the state statute, the state does regulate, if you will, and inspect certain units. I believe it's 4 families or more. However, the statute from which this ordinance is derived is a separate statute. Case law has decided that a municipality can do this separate and apart from what the state does. So it's possible there may be some overlap, for example, for a 10-unit apartment building. So in any event, this ordinance is based upon a state statute that was challenged, worked its way all the way up to the Supreme Court. That case was just decided in August of this year that said a municipality could do exactly what's being proposed before you this evening.
Okay, Mayor, you have something to say?
Yes, I'd just like to remind this council that we just went through eliminating a garbage tax, and many of the rental units in our town that are 2 units and below are owned by individuals who live here. And to put something else, a burden, was what I would call it a burden, or to assess them some additional fees is totally uncalled for. I would like to see this resolution, this ordinance pulled. If not pulled, voted down. I just can't see going through what we just went through to eliminate a garbage tax, only to add an additional fee to people who are struggling to keep their properties as it stands now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Cosby?
Believe it or not, I agree with the mayor. Let me tell you why. First of all, we don't even know who put this on. I don't know where this came from. And so when the lawyer read it, he said any unit, any a room, you know, like, are you kidding? So I don't know who sponsored this, but I agree. We need to just take this off and have a conversation about this, because if you had a two-family house and you needed to rent that, and that's supplementing your mortgage, then every year you gotta pay another fee, like, oh my God. So it's not like a business. Most of these properties in town are, you know, they're supplementing the owner's mortgage. So, I don't know if I can make a motion that we, okay, but.
It's going to snow. Because all of
Oh,
us are in
sorry.
agreement. No, all of us are
I
in
agree
agreement.
with the mayor before. So,
All of us are, I think all of us are in agreement with this.
I really want to know who sponsored this though, for real.
Yeah, that's my question. Where did this come from?
It was Mr. Javik, but the things were not written
We gotta
correctly.
have a conversation more about
Understand, I'm just asked to prepare
I understand.
ordinances.
No, thank you, counsel. I appreciate that
Anything else,
very much.
Mr. Roman?
Can I?
But we had this conversation
table this?
amongst ourselves. I think we discussed this very extensively, that this was not a good ordinance. And how it wound back up on this agenda again is beyond me.
Okay, at this time, nobody else has anything to say?
I want to make a motion that we remove this from the agenda.
And I'm going to second it.
Thank you.
It is going to snow. Joe, we need a roll call.
Yes. You.
Okay, I need to close the public hearing. Do I need a motion for that first? I need a motion to close the public hearing and remove the ordinance from consideration.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 62-81 and to officially remove it. And ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6282?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2, Administration of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Delete Section 2-13.1, Creation of Department Supervisors in its entirety. Add new Section 2-13.1, Creation of Department Supervisors as follows: 1 fire chief, 5 deputy fire chiefs, 17 captains, 15 lieutenants, 79 firefighters.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted, Mr. Borak?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to speak on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6282. Move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond? Yes. Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6283?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Establishing a Schedule of Titles, Salary Ranges, and Regulations for Maintaining the Classification and Salary Standardization Plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, adding Schedule 4-MM-8.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Any written communications received?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to speak on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move that the hearing for ordinance number 62-83 be closed, the ordinance adopted, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
No.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. The consent agenda. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda, items 1 through 4. Does anybody want to remove any of them? Mr. Halloran?
Again,
Which
I
number
don't
first?
want to remove anything.
You just want to make a comment.
You want to remove one so you can make comments on it?
I just want to make comments. Or actually, I want something clarified on it, that's all.
Hold on a minute.
Then we have to remove it.
We still have to remove it, right? And vote on it. Okay, what's your comment, sir?
No, under here, it says interest, and it has a total amount of $23,403.35. Is that the interest that we get at 2.75% interest in the financial report?
Mrs. Sack? Is that the interest we made?
No, this interest refers to the late on taxes that are paid.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Does anybody want to remove an item? In that case, may I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 4 on the consent agenda and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Crosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to go with committee reports. Councilwoman Orman, can you get us started, please?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I'd like to start off by just extending my congratulations to Mayor Armstead, Council President-elect Michelle Yemakaitis, and the 9th Ward Councilman Armando Medina on their recent victories in the November general election. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank John Principato, Adam Kaczynski, and O'Neill Thomas for being part of the process. Democracy works best when people have a choice in any type of election and can choose who they want to serve them. I'd like to also congratulate the newly elected Board of Education Commissioner-elects, Doris Johnson, Patrick Organo, and Mary Anthony Magnello. You have a big job on your hands governing and adhering to policies that affect all of our children in the district. I spent 8 years as a commissioner on the Board of Ed, so I know what your job is going to be like. It's enjoyable, but it's going to be a lot of hard work. So I just thank you and thank all that I had congratulated earlier for your willingness to want to at least serve our community. I'd like to also take this time to thank the residents of the First Ward. They came out in really big numbers this election, and I was just extremely overwhelmed at how many people remembered who I was and how many people just came up and extended, their support and wished me luck in the election. I will not forget it. I will not forget how warm and how special you made me feel, and I will continue to serve you to the best of my ability. I also would like to take a few moments to talk about what's going on Gessner Street. For the last, I would say, week and a half, we saw a big, giant yellow truck parked there, and it's not moving. One of the reasons why it's not moving is because the street was supposed to be paved with, the black tar and asphalt. Unfortunately, you have to do it in the proper temperature settings, and we just really haven't had the weather that's conducive to paving. We are going to proceed with the concrete portion of that project, fixing some of the aprons that are damaged and fixing the curb, because concrete can be laid, and I guess it settles in a totally different temperature. So we may have to wait until the spring before we continue, or we even really get started with the actual blacktopping of Gessner Street. There were a lot of potholes. I think one day I went down from one end to the other, and I counted about 97 dings, holes, and dents in the particular street, so it is in some bad shape. I want to give you an update also on the old Pathmark location, which is soon to become a Super Fresh. We did receive approval, or should I say the new owner did receive approval for construction on the inside of the building. It is a process. You apply for permits, and it's a wait to get approved and everything, but it finally did get approved, so construction or demolition on the inside will be able to begin shortly. Leaves are all over the place, not only in the First Ward, but they're in all the wards. Wanted to also just mention that we've had a quite unusual season. There are still a lot of leaves on trees. I was just really amazed that I was driving through Linden that every tree is just not empty. But we are working, our Department of Public Works is working to get the leaves up that are on the street corners. And unfortunately, we ended up with some snow that piled up on some of the leaves, but they are working to get it. And unfortunately, God sometimes plays jokes on us. We'll get our leaves all, blown and out to the curb and even bagged up, and then 4 days later, we get a windstorm, and we have just as many leaves that are on the ground. But just be patient. We are going to come and get them. They're doing their best. And we can just remember, if you multiply the thousands and thousands of trees that we have not only on city property, but that we have in the backyards, that's a whole lot of leaves, and we are doing the best. Also, I want to just take a little bit of time to say thank you to our Department of Public Works for what they did during that sudden snowstorm. We got hit really hard. It wasn't expected, and they really did a great job. I came in from a mountainside, and Mountainside, Springfield, Union, Rozelle Park, every town that I drove through was a mess until I got to Linden. And when I got to Linden, I was honestly able to pick my son up within 3 minutes and then go to the train station to pick up my husband within 5. So Linden was far better than any town that I drove through. So I'd like to just commend the Department of Public Works for everything that they did. But once again, in terms of the leaves, if you need bags, I do have some bags. If you call me, I'd be more than willing to, like I said, bring them to your home so you can have them. I'm going to speak a little bit about redevelopment since I am the chair of the redevelopment committee, but I'm just going to speak a tiny bit because I'm going to let the mayor go a little bit more in detail. But there is a project called Advanced Green that is going on down in the southern part of Linden and the Trimley area, and he's going to speak on that as well as our solar panel project that's finally coming into fruition. And then last but not least, I would just like to take a couple of minutes to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And just keep in mind that the original Thanksgiving came about because immigrants were experiencing some ungodly persecution in their country. And the people, the indigenous people in this country, opened up their borders and let foreigners into this country on the good faith that we are going to be good citizens. So when we talk about being kind and being loving, the first Thanksgiving was really based on that principle, persecution and being welcome to a land where you can live a better life. So in this Thanksgiving, just think about those who have it less fortunate than we, and let's just wish them well. And I do have one other thing. I have a little food basket, because we all received roughly about a $12 tax break this year. And it was said no one can take their family out on $12. So I decided this year for Thanksgiving I was going to go to ShopRite and I was going to buy a meal that feeds a family of 4. There's chicken and stuffing and gravy, string beans, sweet potatoes, a package of instant mashed potatoes, and spent about $12. So I also threw in $2 extra and bought dessert. So the first person that knows a family in need can call my cell phone right now if you're watching on television, if you're out in this audience, 908-370-6482. Call me, dial me, and tell me that you know a family in need. And you can come to the mayor's office tomorrow and pick up these groceries and hopefully add it to your Thanksgiving dinner. I can feed a family of 4 on $12, as most of us can. And I'm going to challenge all of my council members for the December meeting. Each one of you take your $12 saving and make a basket and make a difference in someone's life. And then I have one other thing. It is still November, and I would like to take the time to acknowledge all of the veterans, past and present, who have served this wonderful country. And we had an event last week for Veterans Day, and it was a seed that was planted by Mr. Kaminsky. I know that you planted the seed. I was told that you just planted that wonderful seed, and that seed grew and flourished into something that was just amazing and beautiful, where we acknowledged our hometown heroes. So I want to thank you for planting that seed, because it just grew. Mr. Brown took that idea and with help of others made it into something marvelous, and I believe it's going to become even bigger and better. But if we all just take a seed, whether it's a seed of kindness, a seed of hope, a seed of encouragement, and plant it, this city can be just amazing and can be awesome. So thank you. That ends my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Javik?
Yes, Council President. First, I want to start with the budget review and finance statement for November 20th, 2018. Approval is requested for the following finance actions. Number one, the payment of bills totaling $2,582,114. Bills have been signed by the mayor, council president, and finance chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. Number two, we are in receipt of the investments made by the city treasurer for the month of October at the rate of 2.75%. Number three, in the Department of Finance, the approval was granted for the CFO to submit the best practices worksheet to the Division of Local Government Services by the November 12th, 2018 deadline. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
No.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
In continuing, I would like to remind everyone that we are now doing a toy drive for the holidays. We are in need of toys for ages 13 and under, girls and boys. They can be dropped off at the mayor's office, Firehouse Number 1, or the trampoline park, which is in the Walmart Shopping Center. Also, our third annual holiday breakfast with Santa will be coming up on December 1st at 8 a.m. at the JTG Center. So I hope to see everybody there for that. Linden's annual tree lighting will also take place on December 7th at 6 p.m. in front of City Hall to bring in the holiday. And as a reminder, if you want a nice fire in your fireplace this season, on the corner of Brook and Knopf Streets, we still have plenty of fireplace-size hardwoods available for free. Just come and get it for your fireplace. With that, I just wish everyone and their families a happy Thanksgiving. And I would also like to congratulate our mayor, First Ward Councilwoman woman on another term, and Councilwoman Michelle Yamakaitis, who will become our first woman council president. I also want to congratulate the new Board of Ed commissioners. And as always, you can reach out to me with any concerns or issues. I'm always available and can be reached at 908-494-4608 or email bjavik@linden-newjersey.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mohammed?
Thank you, Council President, fellow citizens of Linden, Mayor Armstead. I first like to give a report from the 4th Ward. All is well in the 4th Ward. 4 dead trees were removed. The 4th Ward Park is finished at the risk of being redundant. Lincoln Street has been paved, and greater and greater things are happening in the 4th Ward. I'd like to also give a report from the Health Department. Board of Health approved the following applications at that meeting held October the 23rd, 2018. 1 retail food handling license, 1 milk license, 2 itinerant retail food handling licenses, 1 tattoo parlor license, 7 food events license, 17 barber shops, beauty parlor, and nail salons, and 1 portable chemical toilet, 6 vacant property registration, and 2 flu shots are still available, and the telephone number for the Health Department is 908-474-8420, and make appointment to get the shots. I also don't usually talk with my other occupation, but I am a minister. And in case someone might need, this is a season of, can be mentally challenging. And I have to say this is also to the state senator, I am saddened by his being a proponent of the legalization of marijuana, because I have the occasion on many occasions to deal with people who are coming and suffering from addiction. It's a sad problem in this country. It's a problem everywhere. And we should have a moment of silence just for the people who are sick and suffering. So I ask you to join me in moment of for the sick and suffering that's suffering from addictions. Thank you. And let us all remember in this time of Thanksgiving things that we should be thankful for. And one of the first things we should be thankful for is being the greatest country on earth, America. And secondly, we should pray that the great reputation of this country is not sullied by people in office that find it fun just to be at a place of entertainment. This is not a quiz show. It certainly is not a place for apprentices. It's a place of great solemnity. And I ask you to join me in wishing our fellow citizens a happy Thanksgiving. And I also, for the sake of brevity, I concur with the sentiments of my fellow colleagues in congratulating those who were elected. Also congratulate those who had run, they made a good wage, but you know, voting does matter. And now let us get on to the business of running this great city. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless America, and God bless Linden.
You done, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cosby?
Thank you. So from the Construction Code Committee, I'd like to make a motion for the installation of a streetlight on pole number 65695, which is located on Rebecca Street at the back of 838 Hampton Street. That's the closest residence. And I ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
So the construction code report for the the summonses that were issued is on file in the construction code office. It just did not make it to my folder for this month's meeting, so I don't have the figures for that. But the construction code department does an awesome job of issuing summonses after they do inspections on reports that we give as council members, and that they do inspections for other complaints that are registered. So if anyone's interested in the numbers from last month, it's on file in the construction code office. Unfortunately, it didn't make my folder, so I can't report on that at this time. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who participated in the October Fifth Ward Community Meeting. We normally do our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration during that time for the last about 5 years or so. And this year, as like an annual thing, Maison Tropical, which is located on East Elizabeth Avenue? East Elizabeth Avenue, made a food donation, which is always delicious. So we want to say thank you to Josie and the folks at Maison Tropical, and again, send our gratitude to our honoree this year, who was Angel Padilla, the retired police officer here in town. Please mark your calendars for the Fifth Ward, the next event, the last event for the year, which is our annual Sansa event, which is probably like 15 years running now. It's going to be on December the 15th. That's at the LMPC Center, 1025 John Street. And it's from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. The children come, they have refreshments, and take photos with Santa, and there's always a make and take craft, and everything is free. So it's December the 15th from 11 until 1. This year, again, I'm going to do another survey for the residents. I did it last year, and unfortunately, it was removed from the city's website. I know everyone does not have Facebook or other social medias, so if you're watching or if you hear about it, I'm going to try and make sure that it's posted on LindenTV, that if anyone from the Fifth Ward wants to participate in the survey and they don't have electronic communications, they can give me a call and I'll have one delivered to them. The survey is simply for me to get the feedback from the residents so I can know what I'm doing well, or what they want to see, and what ideas they may have for our community. It worked well last year. And so I'm going to do it again, and hopefully, we get a greater input so we can move our calendar in January according to what the residents would like to see. Topics for community meetings, other initiatives, or just general things that you want to change or see in the Fifth Ward. So just want to make sure I put everything. Also, well, first let me give my phone number. It's 908-718-7933. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you want me to drop you off some leaf bags, call me at 908-718-7933. And I'd like to announce that I did plant a seed to Mrs. Councilwoman Ormond's suggestion, and finally the seed has taken root in the form of a grant for Linden after 3. Back in 2014, there was a survey that went out, there was a focus group that was held, and we were looking to get some grant money, which we never did, even though we had a grant writer on staff. So we did partner with the New Jersey After School Alliance, New Jersey After School All-Stars, and so they're going to run a program here in the city of Linden for children. It's going to be a 21st century grant, which is exactly like that we have in the Board of Education, and it's going to be housed at one of the Linden public facilities, and it's a $250,000 grant. And so that's going to provide, employment opportunities. It's going to provide education for parents as well as children, and it's going to be an enrichment program which involves STEM. I don't know if the A's in it, but I like the art part. So, but that's important. I'm just excited for that, and so I'm very proud that I was able to kind of stay focused and find us a good partner and get this grant. So just stay tuned, and you'll hear more about the application process for anybody looking to work there. And so, this is for Linden's children, and it's going to also have a summer component. So that's very exciting. I'm very happy. Also wanted to say, too, as far as community goes, a friend of mine, she wanted to have an idea in the vein of like a sisters, circle of sisters type of deal, just so that different women from all over the city could get together. And on last weekend, we actually had a Linden Ladies, like little networking activity at the library. So we had women of all ages, and it was good. So, we met different people. And so if anybody's interested in possibly just, every other month or so, getting in a group, give me a call. I'll connect you with her, Josefina Mendez. And my number, 908-718-7933. It's a good idea. I think it's a good idea so that we can connect with other people. And it's, geared towards our ladies so that, we can connect with one another. And, this is what I wanted to say before. The Cultural Committee, I know that it's fully staffed and fully manned, and you just walked in and just reminded me about the Cultural Committee. I wanted to just encourage them to, some of the things that I've been doing in the 5th Ward, it's not just for people in the 5th Ward, and it's like, really should be a citywide thing. So Hispanic heritage and Black history and, a lot of other little programs that I'm trying to do, I'm doing it in the 5th Ward, but it's really for the whole city. So maybe if the Cultural Committee could look at doing these events, now that it's fully staffed, people wouldn't, make it a big deal that it's in the 5th Ward and not release my advertisements and stuff like that. That's all I wanted to add that. So, wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And on Giving Tuesday, please consider making a donation to the GoFund for Linden, Team Linden, Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs. As you know, the program started 3 years ago, and this year, thankfully, the recreation has given us space, and for next year, they're going to give us $2,000, but that's nowhere near enough to sustain the program. It's all run by volunteers, and we provide snacks, we provide bait. We want to do different things for the students, and so the children. We're just looking to raise some money so that we can do that and wouldn't have to bring it out of our pocket because, I've been giving that in my pocket for a lot of things in town. So just asking for a little help. On Giving Tuesday, it's a GoFund, Team Linden, Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
Councilman Roman.
Thank you, Council President. Councilwoman Cosby, I'm still kind of a member of Cultural Heritage. I help them as much as I can, and I still do my normal, which I'll get into later in my report, I still do my normal facets for them. I think it's a great idea, and you're right, people will not, complain that it's only a 5th Ward thing. The Cultural Heritage Committee has now got a lot of people helping out. It's great that they do. We can expand on it, and I'm actually excited about expanding because I see the other things around the county and in other cities, and I'm excited. We should expand on that, and I agree with you 100%. So before I forget, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and congratulate to everyone who's elected and everyone who ran for office. I'm going to go right into the landfill committee. The mayors and the landfill committee have been working on the person who responded to RFP regards to the solar farm. He's going to elaborate a little bit more on that. South Stiles Street, I'm sorry, I'm going to stay with committee reports. I have the report for the amount of money we've collected in public property. New York side collections was $3,336. Trenton side collections was $4,593. Credit card transactions was $30,081. Parking meter collections citywide was $12,649. Railroad permits was $7,500. And it's a grand total over $53,000 we collected this month. Thank you, Tyrone, for preparing that for me. So, South Stiles Street, last week, Union County Health Department went out and handed out summonses to idling 18-wheelers at the Seageist factory, which is the new factory that was just redone over the last couple of years. Today, right as I was coming here, I got a call from, basically there's like 6 or 7 houses that have to deal with this every day. They have a very low quality of life. They have 10 trucks at any given time sitting 20 yards from their front door idling. So I got a call. I really want to thank the Linden Police Department. They went right out there. They issued summonses to them. The truckers, as well as I've sat down with the general manager. I've asked him and I've told him this is a problem, and he helped us for a while. These truckers have to know that people are living right across the street, and you can't sit there and idle for more than 3 minutes, I believe the law is, for an extended period of time. So thank you, LPD, thank you, Chief, thank you, Lieutenant on duty, for going out there and giving those summonses tonight. I hate to cost people money, hardworking people money, but at the same time, my job is the quality of life of the 6th Ward residents, and that's what I'm going to do. So the Veterans Day event was really, honestly, so amazing. I don't want to go over it, but I really wanted to give a shout out to Ed, who came to us with the idea. There's so much fighting going on in this city all the time. There's always people on Facebook, whether or not, or at the council meetings, and a lot of negativity. And on that day, there was zero negativity. Everyone came together to honor the bravest people that ever lived in this city. And Ed, you did an amazing job. I know you did a lot of work for it. I also want to thank you, Councilman Brown. I know you did a ton of work for this as well, and as well as every single other person that was involved. Leaf collection, as Councilwoman Ormond said, we have a problem all over the city. It's weather related. We are going to be picking it up over the next couple weeks. It's not easy, and but it's almost all of it is on the weather. So give us time. They will be packed up. If you need leaf bags in the meantime, give me a call. I'll bring them right out to you. Today there was an accident on Clinton and 13th. This is the first street in my first month I asked to have reviewed by the Accident Review Committee to perhaps put 4-way stop signs. Clinton's a speedway. It's so wide there. Councilman Strano knows. So today I saw a car flipped. It was brutal. It was a brutal thing to look at. The police department, by the municipal uniform table, whatever it is it's this law that we go by for this, or the book at least, the manual that we go by for this, there has to be 5 accidents, and I know I've said this before, but to sit here and wait for someone to die is insane to me when I've seen 4-way stop signs work around the city. So going in with the new administration, continuing with the new administration, new council coming next year, I really hope that, and the 6th Ward's not the only ward that needs these. We need them in other spots. This will slow people down. And at least the accidents, if they happen, they'll be happening at 10 miles an hour and not 45 miles an hour, because that's how people get hurt. I refuse to wait until a kid is walking home from school 6 and gets hit by a car on a sidewalk when we can do something about it now. So I beg this and I implore this council to work towards this goal in all wards that need them next year. Thank you. Trucks on Woodlawn and Liberty, I heard the complaints. I have the police out there as often as they can. We were supposed to have a signboard out there, but the weather just won't permit it. The battery will die very quickly in the 20 and 30 degree weather out there. So I am going to work with the traffic department to try to work out a situation where less trucks will be using Clinton, Liberty, and Woodlawn as a U-turn. They're destroying property. They hit a car of a great resident over there, and we gotta figure out what we can do over there. Meridia Lifestyles 2, construction continues. Today and going forward, they are laying the flooring to the basement. They're pouring concrete. So next 3 or 4 weeks, they'll be done with the basement level, and they'll be going up. So just watch that. They've been really good neighbors. I know it's a difficult project. It's a messy project, but they have been responsive. I have property damage at several properties around, and they're outright paying for new fences and new driveways. So they've been good over there to us. December 7th is the tree lighting, as was said before. I'll be in my normal spot making s'mores in the promenade. Please come out. It's one of the best events we have throughout the whole year. If you do want to volunteer, we always need more volunteers for this. Please text or call me, 908-494-5784. Tonight, the ordinance to ban legal marijuana within the city was defeated. I'm not sure if it was removed. Yeah, I mean, I removed it from consideration. I didn't table it. So anyway, point is that I think that council going forward needs to look at this, re-examine it, and we need to make a zone where we can have it, whether it's just near 1 and 9 corridor or Tremley, or just away from houses, away from Wood Avenue, away from everything possible, residential, schools, whatnot. But there is sections of 1 and 9 where we can have the revenue coming off of Elizabeth, coming off of Staten Island, coming out of the areas, because I've talked to other municipalities, and they're gonna end up putting this right on our border. So any of the legitimate concerns we have with people driving through, you know, people being around, they're gonna be around anyway, because they're gonna put it 100 yards from our border, and they're gonna get all that money from it. Whether it's 200 grand, whether it's 300 grand, it's still money there. So I think we should really reconsider this ordinance and put it through in a way where we can still make the revenue, but keep the city as safe as possible. Please contact me if you need me, 908-494-5784. It's my personal cell phone number. You can follow me on Facebook. My full name, John Francis Roman. There's a page called the Linden 6th Ward Councilman John Francis Roman. There's also the Linden 6th Ward. They're all great sources of information. So everyone have a great Thanksgiving. Council President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Strano?
Thank you, Council President. Personnel report. Item number, I will ask for questions at the end of the report. In the police department, A, permission to hire Edward Chayback and Keith Aslin as SLEO 3s at the hourly rate of $30 an hour pending, is that $30? $30 an hour pending successful completion of background requirements effective November 30th of 2018. These are for the security at the schools. This is in coordination with the Board of Education. B is permission to begin the background checks for the hiring of 4 police recruits for the Union County Police Academy from the attached list. C is permission to hire 4 public safety telecommunicators pending the successful completion of background requirements from the attached list at the annual salary of $38,000 effective December 4th, 2018. Item D is amending the hire date of Marquita Thompson as a public safety telecommunicator trainee to November 10th of 2018 from October 23rd of 2018. Under 2, in the municipal court, A is the promotion of Lindsay Parker to Deputy Municipal Court Administrator effective November 22nd, 2018 at the annual salary of $55,000. B is permission to close the court office on Friday, November 23rd, 2018. In number 5, I don't know how we went from 2 to 5, but in the Treasury, A, permission to post internally and externally for a full-time clerk 1 in the Treasurer's office. B is the increase in the part-time hours of Lucy Miranda in the Tax Collector's office as needed for the division, not to exceed 20 hours per week. Under 6 in the construction code, A, amending the hire date of Joseph Edigio to November 19, 2018, from November 12th of 2018. 8 under personnel, these are FMLAs and NJFLAs for employer number 107871, October 1st, 2018 through January 1 of 2019. Employer number 106893, October 5th of 2018 through November 19th of 2018. Employer number 909085, intermittent July 22nd, 2018 through January 22nd of 2019. Employer number 000076, October 19th, 2018 through November 30th of 2018. Employer 909595, September 14th, 2018 through October 8th of 2018. Employer number 908938, from July 30th of 2018 through October 31st of 2018. Employer number 108135, September 5th of 2018 through October 9th of 2018. Employer number 009078, July 3rd, 2018 through October 3rd of 2018. And employer number 106919, October 23rd of 2018 through December 5th of 2018. I move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Comments?
Are there any questions? Yes, Mr. Lindsay. Trustee Council President.
Yes, please.
Joe Lindsay, 326 Fernwood Terrace. I just have a question. 1C, the salary is $38,000. Is that the minimum in the contract? Did they up that? And what was it? 34? All right, that's to get better qualified, obviously. Yeah, all right, well, that's a good thing. And then on 2A, what did Lindsay go from what to, now she's deputy of municipal court, administrator, what was she? Okay, but that is an increase, right, in her salary?
That's a new position for her as a promotion.
Yeah, it's a promotion, but I think it was a principal account clerk, but we can double check for you tomorrow.
But she did get an increase in
Well,
salary?
it's a promotion. Yeah, it's a promotion.
It's a new
But she
position
could
for
have been
her.
making that already, that's why I'm asking.
No,
No.
not that, no, it was a raise.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The motion stands.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I abstain.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay, I want to thank the Shade Tree Commissioners for their volunteer services and the hard work they did, especially in my ward, the 7th Ward, with the recent pruning. I've been getting complaints about that for quite some time, as everyone knows. They can't walk down their sidewalks without, getting hit in the face with a tree branch, and they did a great job. I just want the people to know that they did, have staging areas where they brought the cut branches. As a matter of fact, I have a pile in my driveway that my wife left after she trimmed one of the trees that's still there. But I just want to let them know that those residents where those trees or branches are stockpiled will be picked up by DPW. We're just running a little behind in DPW considering from the effects of the snowstorm. But I want to commend the Public Works Department. They kept on schedule with the trash pickups and the recycling pickups. I didn't hear any complaints. They did what I consider a fantastic job considering how terrible the forecasting was, and I want to just tip my hat to them. You know, there was a storm that crippled the entire northern half of New Jersey, and as Councilwoman Ormond had stated, when you got to Linden, it was actually moving in Linden. I want to comment on the progress of Advanced Greek Developers. They are the company that's building the, or redeveloping the brownfields or the old GIF site and that area of the Trimley Point section, which is on the east side of the New Jersey Turnpike. I visited the area just before I came to the council meeting tonight, and I'm thoroughly impressed. They're already out of the ground with the piers and the columns with the rebar for the supports for the roadway. And they just started on this project about a month ago. I was just totally impressed at how quick things can move and they don't have to go through the government red tape that we all have to deal with when we're trying to do a project on a municipal level. It's great to see that there's a developer down there that's developing on their promise, and I have to commend our LEDC coordinator, Alex Laspinoza, and our mayor for finally getting something done after seeing that area laying fallow for 20 or 25 years. So my accolades go out to them. I want to congratulate all the candidates that ran in the recent election. There are a lot of people that, you know, really worked their tails off, and I want to congratulate both the people that were successful and those that weren't. It's not easy putting your name out there in public and, you know, not knowing how an election is going to go. And also all the people that voted, you know, between the candidates and the people that voted, you are what makes this country what it is, the greatest country in the world, in my opinion. And at that, I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Marquita?
Thank you, Council President. From the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected the following monies during the month of September 2018. Permits and fees, $4,880. Regular penalties, there were nothing. Fire prevention, $44.75. CSD CMAC was $4,440 for a total of $9,365.54. From the ambulance collections, the report for the ambulance reimbursement systems for the Linden Fire Department, the amount of $69,436.80 for October 2018 has been added to the total deposits for 2018, totaling $688,928.26. I'll move on to the 8th award report. A redevelopment agreement is on the agenda tonight, resolution number 425 for the redevelopment of the Park Plastics property located on South Park Avenue. The developer is proposing the construction of 14 townhouses, 6 facing Park Avenue and 8 facing Bettle Place. I'm happy to see this project finally moving forward after 20 years of having that blighted old factory sitting there. We were fortunate enough to have it taken down last December. And at this point, I'd like to thank Mayor Armstead and his administration for helping to see this to fruition. The eyesore is gone, and we're looking forward to seeing a nice development coming to the community. Street paving, the resurfacing of streets in the 8th Ward will be postponed until early spring of 2019 rather, due to the wet and cold weather coming in so soon. With the paving of South Park Avenue, this is actually kind of like a blessing. As was mentioned several months ago, we'll be getting a new Wawa at where the Exxon station currently sits at Route 1 and South Park. So, you know, we're making new aprons and sidewalks and curbing. You know, a lot of times we hear we just paved and it's getting ripped up already. So this is kind of to our benefit that it's going to be delayed. So in 2019, the streets in the 8th Ward, at the beginning of spring, will be getting done. Okay. Work has also begun to widen the Turnpike exit at exit 13 at Brunswick and Bayway Avenue in Elizabeth. I wanted to thank Assemblyman Jamel Holly and Council President Manny Grova of Elizabeth for their support to making this project come to a reality. Many of our residents in the 8th Ward and throughout Linden are often, especially in the evening, sitting at that exit waiting to get off onto Bayway Avenue or Brunswick. So it was long overdue that this needed to be widened, so thank you again to them. I have an update from a neighborhood watch alert that I had put out approximately 2 weeks ago. With the Ring cameras, there's a Ring network that people could share videos and stuff, and it was shared on social media. There was a green minivan in Elizabeth going around near the Montana Park Avenue, stealing packages that were delivered to the doorsteps. We had video in the 8th Ward of similar van stealing packages off of a doorstep. So today, as the Elizabeth police call it, the package pirate was caught due to the diligence of neighbors. Everybody was looking out, so a neighbor saw this green minivan, called the police, and they were actually able to catch whoever was going around in this green minivan. So it just goes to show you, you know, the police can't be everywhere. We need the public to be vigilant, be on, you know, alert, look for these things. So great job, Elizabeth Police and their neighborhood watch. As many had mentioned, the Linden Cultural and Heritage Committee, the tree lighting is going to be December 7th, so we ask everybody to come. Many of my colleagues did not mention from the Linden Cultural and Heritage Committee, they're going to have the house decorating contest, which is the all homes in Linden that have their holiday lights on from December 12th through December 20th will be judged. There is no registration required. Winners will be announced December 27th. So they'll have pictures posted on the Linden Cultural and Heritage Committee Facebook page, and gift cards will be awarded and mailed to the winners. So we ask, please get your lights up and decorate between December 12th and the 20th to be a part of this contest if you're interested. Okay? The 8th Ward Holiday Open House will begin once again this year on December 8th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the 8th Ward Community Center. This is an event that I had started when I became councilwoman. It was the first event like this in the entire city, so it's been very successful, and I look forward to doing this again. This is my favorite event that I do all year. We will have refreshments served, and also we will have make and take crafts to keep the kids busy while they're getting their pictures taken with Santa. So we also will do family pictures. Many of the families like to come in, so bring your camera if you wish. Again, that date is December 11th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the 8th Ward Community Center on Bettle Place, which is located in Milkowski Park. As many as my colleagues have mentioned also about the leave bags, if you need leave bags, please give me a call. My number is 908-925-2309. I just want to make mention, Councilman Roman brought up about the traffic committee with the accidents. He's 100% right. We don't need to wait for a fatality to happen. I have spoken to Mayor Armstead, and we were having several discussions on this, that we need to change something up with the way we do this policy in this city. We need to sit down with the police department, with this committee, and discuss this. As he mentioned, he had a car flip over on Clinton Street today. I had a similar accident that I've been asking for a four-way stop at Bachelor and Clem. Many of my residents approached me asking, can we do a petition? Will that help? What will help to get this done? So, you know, we had a car flip over there. We had a Linden police car involved in an accident at that same intersection. That didn't even spark the four-way intersection, four-way stop sign. So Chandler Avenue and Dill Avenue, we had a car flip over last year with children in the back where the residents were pulling the kids out of the car. So we really, like Councilman Roman said, we really need to revisit this. It's too late after somebody gets killed. So Councilman Roman, I guarantee we will be working more on this next year.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Okay, and just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Medina?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. And you know what, Councilwoman Givingtuesday and Councilman Roman, I will definitely be joining you guys in that fight, because my first 2-3 years here on council, that was my biggest thing for DeWitt and Orchard Terrace, and it took forever to get four-way stop sign. It's ridiculous, the red tape that we have to go through to just try to keep the public safe. So I just want to echo that, because it's totally frustrating, and I 100% get it. Just have some points here for Ninth Ward. I do not have a library report tonight. Again, I just want to congratulate everyone on their elections. Also want to thank DPW on a great job with the snow removal. Last week on Thursday was a brutal evening, especially for commuters. But I think we definitely were. It was a storm that caught us off guard, but you know what? These guys always shine and get out there and do what they have to do. It was amazing. When I got to the city of Linden, the roads were great. So definitely, again, thank you guys for doing a great job. Again, I also want to remember our veterans, past and present, and also want to thank the Ninth Ward residents that came out and voted the last elections in November. Overwhelming support, thank you. And also want to thank all the residents that came out to our last community meeting as well. Also, just a quick update on the sidewalk project. I'm sorry, apologize to the residents. The weather hasn't been really working out. Everything is marked. We're all waiting up here. It's just, the weather just hasn't been really cooperating with us, and the contractors can't get out there and start tearing up these sidewalks and pouring new concrete. So be patient. We will get it done. If we don't get it done this year, it'll definitely be the first thing that they do in the spring. Also, just want to bring up, we're receiving a lot of complaints, and DPW have been doing a great job in addressing it. Some illegal dumping in the Ninth Ward. I had a piano dumped on Palin a few weeks ago, an actual piano. I kid you not, it was an actual piano in pieces. And also truck tires, like real actual tractor trailer tires being dumped on Elm, one recently on Palisade. So I'm asking folks, just be vigilant. Again, Councilwoman Marquita mentioned the Ring doorbell. I also have one as well, and I have surveillance. So if you see something, something gets dumped, look at your camera feed and see what you can gather for us and provide it to the police department and blast it on social media as well. Because I can't believe this is actually happening in any neighborhood in the city of Linden. So it's just really surprising. That being said, we don't have anything else for the Ninth Ward. Just want to wish everyone here a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor?
Yes, good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to discuss something that we've been looking at for quite some time. Early on in my administration, we were looking at installing solar panels on our landfill. At the time, our best offer was $125,000 annually. So we've since revisited the idea of installing those, and our potential has doubled. So we have an offer on the table for $250,000 annually, which is double the amount that was first offered. And that's not to say that we're going to go with that offer. I would encourage our council members to continue to research and look at all the new legislation that's been passed at the state to see if we can get that number even higher. So we are moving in the right direction. I do feel, though, as though that we will have panels on that landfill, and that will be an added revenue to this town. Again, 250 is a nice number, but I'd like to see an even better number. Hopefully we'll get that, and if not, you know, we'll be making some sort of decision, some sort of determination within the next 2 months or so as to how we should proceed. So I want to thank the council members who've been working on me with this, including the current Sixth Ward Councilman, John Roman, who's he's the, what is your title there, John? Chairman of the
Mayor, I am the chairman, but I look to Ralph a lot.
Chairman of the chairman of the landfill committee. So thank you for working with us on this, John. We appreciate it, and I look forward to moving this project forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The next thing I'd like to report on is the Linden Rozelle Sewerage Authority You've been hearing me talk for the last month about a user occupancy agreement that we've been trying to establish there with a company called Aries Energy. Now, Aries will be processing sludge and creating a charcoal byproduct that can be used for a number of different things, such as fertilizer and other products. Again, we've been working very hard on establishing a user occupancy agreement. Just somehow, anything we try to do in government, we get kind of caught up. There's all kinds of legalese and all kinds of things, roadblocks that stop us from moving at the speed that we'd like to. So I'm hoping next month to be able to come back and report to the people in the city that we have signed that user occupancy agreement and we're moving forward so that the city can see that it's upwards of $370,000 annual revenue. So we're looking forward to that as well as the solar project moving forward so that we can get those revenues into our into our budget and we can help to reduce taxes again next year. Moving right along, I'd like to congratulate our Board of Education, new Board of Education elected commissioners, Patrick Gargano, Doris Johnson, and Marianthi Manganello. It is my sincere hope that we can work together towards a common goal of reducing taxes. I'd also like to concentrate on seeing, too, that money makes it down to the classroom. I mean, it's one thing to save money, but it's another thing to spend it wisely. So our goal is to save money, and when we have to spend money, that it reaches the classroom where it's needed most. And that's our young people, our children, who are our future. So looking forward to working with everyone as we move this city forward with the idea of reducing taxes or stabilizing taxes so that we can all afford to stay here. I'd like to congratulate Lisa Ormond on her reelection, and like to congratulate Armando Medina on his reelection, and I'd like to congratulate Michelle Yamakaitis on her being elected council president-elect. She will be our first female council president. And once again, in Linden, a little place called Linden, New Jersey, we continue to make history. And that is historical, to have our first female council president. It's something to be commended. It just goes to show that the people in Linden are very progressive thinking people. Moving right along, I'd like to thank everybody who came out and voted. Voting is it's a right that sometimes we take for granted. We shouldn't. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and voting for me. Being the mayor, I'm honored to be the mayor of this town, and I'm going to have 4 more years to continue to try to move it forward. I'm not a perfect mayor, but I will say this. My heart is in this town. I'm committed to moving it forward for everybody. When you see me out there fighting hard to get people elected, and you see me fighting hard to get myself reelected, it's because I have a vision, and that vision is to move this city forward for the good of all of our residents. And I believe that we can do it. So I always say, thank you, residents, for electing me, because if it wasn't for you, there'd be no me. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you again, and may you all have a happy Thanksgiving. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we're going with resolutions, Resolution 2018-412 through 2018-428. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from their consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions which have been prepared by the City Clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Does anyone wish to remove any resolution between 412 and 428? Mr. Halloran?
Yeah, 414 and 418.
Anybody else? In that case, may I have a motion to approve 2018-412 through 2018-428 with the exceptions of 414 and 418, please?
Council President, I move for the introduction of Resolution 412 to 428 with the exception of 414 and 418, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I'm gonna vote no for 422 and 423, and yes to the rest.
Roman?
I'm going to vote yes to all but 413.
I'm sorry, John, 413?
413 is a no.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Halloran, can you please come up? Let's start with 414.
Yeah, 414, it's about, I imagine this is like a street sweep for a sidewalk. Where is this going to be used? Is it going to be used on my street?
Dan, do you have an answer for 414, please?
Yes, Council President. This machine is to be used in the business district. The operator will start somewhere around 4 or 5 in the morning and sweep the entire Wood Avenue. When they're done with that, they'll go on to St. George Avenue, Elizabeth Avenue, with hopes that when the shops open up in the morning, they have a nice clean sidewalk.
Okay. Thank you.
418, sir?
Okay, 418, it involves cancellation of various capital account appropriation. That means that the council voted to appropriate a certain amount of money, now they're canceling that. Does that mean that the money gets put back into the budget and I get a reduction in taxes? Or does that mean the money goes somewhere else?
I like that, you're funny. Hold on a minute. Mrs. Sack?
Yes, what we do annually, we try to do by the end of the year, is look at various capital accounts. If we've gone for a bond issue and permanently financed the project and the department's finished and purchased whatever they needed or completed the project, we try to close that capital project. Once we do that, if it's been a permanently funded ordinance, that then can be used as a revenue in the next year's budget. So to your point and your question, yes, once we close this revenue, it goes into what's considered capital surplus, and capital surplus can be used as a general revenue in the 2019 budget.
Okay, I'm looking forward to reduction in my taxes next year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I have a motion, please, to approve 414 and 418?
Council President, I move for the introduction of Resolution 414 and ask for a second.
And 18.
And 18, and ask for a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
I'm voting no on 14 and yes on 18.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ordinance first reading. First number will be 6284. Can please, Ms. Lerner, can you please? No, you will. Oh, come on.
Second, Council President.
Huh?
She said she's not gonna read it.
No, she says just read it.
6284, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the city of Linden, passed August 15th, 1995, and approved August 16th, 1995, adding Schedule 4MM-9.
Does anybody wish to make a comment? No questions, just comment on this introduction. May I have a motion to introduce, please?
Council President, I'd like to move ordinance number 6284 for introduction, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
No.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read 6285?
An ordinance creating Chapter 2-25 entitled Department of Community Services by the City Council of the City of Linden. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Linden as follows. Section 1, Chapter 2-25, entitled Department of Community Services, shall be deleted in its entirety and replaced as follows. 2-25.1, Department established, Director of Community Services, Division. A, there is hereby created a Department of Community Services. Said department shall have the following divisions: Division of Engineering, Division of Public Works, Division of Vehicle Maintenance, Division of Transportation and Parking, Division of Buildings and Grounds. 2.2-27.1 created, there is hereby created a Department of Parks and Recreation, which shall be responsible for the providing of leisure services, recreation programs for the various populations in the community, the planning, development, and maintenance of all recreational facilities, and performing background checks on employees and all volunteers.
Does anybody wish to make a comment? No questions.
Comment.
Yes.
It's my turn?
Yes.
So I just want to just point out that this was something that we discussed a long time ago. And it's funny that it's now coming back around. I agree with this 100%. And I just want to say out loud that the positions, they're going to be open positions that are going to be publicly advertised for the director. And I hope that we will look at, like I've always said, promotion from within first. And there's going to be some clerical positions and other opportunities that become available for Linden residents. But it's just a shame that when we talked about this like 6 years ago, nobody wanted to listen, and all of a sudden, it's the same thing, the same scenario. It just came from someone else. But we got there just finally after 6 years. So I'm looking forward to recreation, doing programs, because there's a lot of stuff that we could be doing in our community that we're not because of politics and other stuff. So, but right now, I'm just hoping that we look to promote from within and we get the programs that will benefit our residents of all ages. So that's my comment.
Anyone else? May I have a motion to introduce, please?
Council President, I'd like to move Ordinance 6285 for introduction and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we'll go comments from the members of the public in attendance. City business only. No personal, political, derogatory comments will not exceed 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Mr. Mack. 5 minutes. No, hold on a minute. We'll talk. Can I please tell Mr. Halloran, please?
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. First of all, I'd like to congratulate everybody who won their elections, and everybody who won, and again, everybody who voted, because that's the important part. People had to vote, otherwise nothing gets done. I'd also like to wish everybody here and out in the general public of the city of Linden a happy Thanksgiving, and have a good night.
Thank you, sir. 21 seconds. Mr. Broderick, Michael Broderick?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to echo the sentiments of all of our DPW and clerical workers, congratulating those who were re-elected to their new positions. Good luck to you in the future. We look forward to working with you. Which brings me up here this evening. In October's meeting, I came before you asking, and I also left you my comments in writing, whether to either reestablish, readjust, or eliminate the residency policy. And since that meeting, I've been inundated with calls from the 160-plus members that I represent in the city of Linden asking us why nobody responded to you when you asked it the first time. I said, that's not the protocol. I will be at the next meeting. I advised everybody in order to ask that same question as to whether or not this council was even considering doing anything with this ordinance that restricts their residency to the city of Linden, which they're the only two groups in the city that are now affected by it.
That's it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No comment?
The comments come in after everybody speaks. We'll have 1 minute comments.
Mayor?
After.
Okay. Thank you very much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kaminsky.
Good evening again, and happy holidays to all. Again, also voicing what many others have already, congratulations to those that have, all that ran, but especially those that have won. So congratulations again. I really want to focus my comments this go-around on the business administrators, although I do see that there are some reshuffling of titles. I don't know what's going to happen in the years coming, or in this year coming specifically, but I get the sense, and hopefully we finally do land a business administrator and fill that position. As many, from the mayor all the way to most of the council folks indicated and verbatim said, you know, we need somebody with this skill set. We don't have the expertise or time to do it. I definitely agree that it's a good idea to get one. But as somebody that's spent many years in the financial, 20-plus years in the financial industry, I do want to suggest some requirements for this position. And this is, in my business, in the financial services industry, it's the bare minimum. So it's not doing you know, undue hardship or picking on any specific title. It's just, I think with if we're going to do this, we got to do it right. So we have that opportunity now before somebody is hired. So specifically what I'm getting at are making sure that these folks are financially sound, meaning that they haven't been convicted of a crime, a financial crime, haven't gone through bankruptcy or foreclosure. And again, you know, I guess we get a little, I may get some comments to the contrary or reasoning why not, but again, it's not picking on anybody or this position. It is what the line level licensed individual in our business, my business, has to be. So I think it's appropriate to do so for a basically running a big business like the city of Linden. Lastly, I agree, the veterans event was a wonderful one. It was really warming to see everybody getting along. There really was no politics. It was very, very nice. But really what stood out to me is, and what made me encouraged is our future, the kids there. There was 350 that night with, I think, 500 total kids at the high school that are in the ROTC. And I had the privilege to speaking to many of them, mingling with some of them, and, you know, headlines aside, and sometimes the jaded attitude some take about the young generation, I say, meet these kids, talk to them, or just go see them. So impressive, and I'm really encouraged in the future of Linden after speaking to these kids. So not only do I salute and honor the veterans that have served, all that have served, but also I want to salute those that may be following in their footsteps. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kaminsky. Hans Harper, sir.
All right, you guys can hear me now, right? All right, good. How you doing, guys? I'm Hans Serberg, live at 51 Westover. Also, too, I got to agree with what he said earlier about a business administrator. I mean, it's important. We need to find someone who's neutral, like someone who has a good background check. I mean, someone who has an awesome business experience. I mean, we want to make sure, like, you know, includes references from town officials and clients. You want to make sure, like, you know, wherever bad developments, we want to make sure it's been good. It hasn't gone down south. I mean, I think that's really important. I mean, you know, let's look at, for example, like Maplewood or Clark. I mean, we've seen a lot of great developments, but as someone who's a business administrator, we want to make sure, like, you know, something that's successful, I mean, neutral, you know what I mean? It's just something to help us out for the community. Also, too, I do hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving, you know. Let's not forget there's men and women who's going to be working on Thanksgiving, from the police and fire, veterans, I mean, those who sacrifice for everything for us, you know, stand. So let's not forget those who are working to keep us safe. I think that's really important, too. And that's all I got to say. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mack.
Thank you kindly, Mr. President of City Council. I want to immediately say to the city of Linden, at this moment as I speak to you, there is a wait going on at the First Baptist Church in the city of Linden, Mrs. Smith, and I want to say to the mayor and the chief of police, she's a cornerstone for many years in this district. And I ask the mayor and the chief of police to please go to the website and take a look, and I respectfully ask that we follow up according to the cornerstone that has grounded in Linden. I ask the mayor and the chief of police to please follow up on that. It's happening at First Baptist. Tomorrow would be the service. Diane is a very personal friend of mine. I ask the mayor, please be with me. Chief, say no more. On behalf of the people asked me to come here tonight to bring something to this committee attention. We're not going to deal with administration business. We're going to deal with the city of Linden. I didn't say it, the people set me up here. The people told me, especially public work, I want to tell you that I experienced it. I got on the bus at 5:18 at Super Saver. I think it's Save a Lot. When I got to Elizabeth, it was 20 minutes to 8. I said that. I was there. 20 minutes to 8. I got from Super Saver on St. George Avenue. I got on the bus at 5:18. I didn't get to Elizabeth to 20 minutes to 8. All right? I want to say to the public work, I'm talking public work right now, and I spoke to public work immediately after I got off the bus. And they say, we out here. So happy to hear that. I don't know if public work here. They said, we on our way.
It's over there.
They on our way. And he couldn't do nothing about it because the governor of the state of New Jersey said they caught us with our pants down. Am I right about that? So ain't nothing the mayor can say about it, ain't nothing public work can say about it. It's between God and the planet Earth, and say no more about that. There's no reason for people to beef to me. I heard they beef. And I said, ain't nothing I can do about it. Ain't nothing he can do about it. What you gonna call him for? Bottom line. But the bottom line is this. The peoples, I want to congratulate the ones that ran and won. I want to say to the one that lost, keep on. Keeping on. And the one that won, you cannot stop a winner. You got to understand them, because that's how they win. And I'm so happy to say to the mayor of the city of Linden, I didn't say it, he told me, because I asked him, man, how you do it, man? He said, guess what? It's in my blood. I said, oh my God. Peter Brown said something to me when I said, okay. George Alvarez said something to me one day. He said, Mr. Mack, I want to ask you a question. Do you research? I didn't say it. President said, do you research before you take that microphone? Did you research what you were going to get ready to say? I looked at him and I said, are you kidding me? When you tell me, I'm talking about you, I'm talking to Lisa, you, Muhammad, all of y'all. If y'all told me something, y'all done researched it. So ain't no need for me to come unless y'all tell me the truth. I didn't know if people were lying to me. I didn't know that. I wanted to move immediately and expediently. I wasn't at the meeting, but somebody, I heard it with my own ears. I happened to be looking at TV and I said, the chief of police and the chief of the fire department. Now I got to come. When you mess with the chief of the fire, when you mess with the chief of the fire department, now you're messing with humanity, you're messing with the people. And I mean it. And bottom line, it's not open for discussion. I saw somebody get on this floor and tell them the answer is no. Loose lips sink ships. We all do it. Ain't nobody up here on this council perfect. If he said something that was, if he said something that was out of court, then think about who said it first. Think about that. Chew on that and come back next year. Don't come back and tell me next month. Come back and tell me next year. If he said something that you didn't like, we'll talk about it next year. Because he's not a man cut out like that.
Mr.
Bottom
Mack?
line, never was, never will be.
Mr.
Bottom
Mack?
line, it's not open for discussion.
Thank you, sir.
I'm finished.
Oh, man, are you finished? You passed 6 minutes, sir. Thank you.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you yet.
Next time, what I will suggest is write everything down.
I'm going to go to the preachers. I'm going to tell the preachers we're going to have a community meeting where we can talk as long as we want to talk. Say no more. Thank you, Congress.
Thank you, sir. Let me know when the community meeting is. I would like to speak there. Next one, I'll probably tear the name apart here. Hugh Halla? 23 West 18th? Oh, sorry, sir. What's your name? O'Hara. Ah, that's a no. Okay.
I was really signing in. Is that an offer to make a comment?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Congratulations to everybody who was elected and re-elected. I moved to West 18th Street 7 years ago. I'm a real estate agent, mostly experienced in Essex County. And the properties over there have been in a decline. I don't know if you really realize this. Property works cyclically, and we're really still not found a bottom yet. Many of the things have improved, such as some of the empty houses have been occupied. But what I'm seeing is that some of the homes that have occupied recently are using these 2 families as 3 families. Now, I bought my house as a 2-family, and I've lived in it as 1. And one of the reasons is because I need to do some work, and permits are very expensive. I need to do it the legal way. To see people come in and circumvent that is not a help to myself, because it doesn't ensure that the property's being developed equally around me. It also is not safe because you don't know what's going on inside. So I think you should take a look at this, because this is a problem in other towns. Anywhere you have an area where you have old inventory, such as over there, much of it's 100 years now, you don't realize it. My home was built in 1915. It's the same as all the other homes in the area. Much of it's knob and tube wiring. It's expensive for these people to upgrade it as well as it gets older. So that dying process, I can't get into how you solve it right now, but you need to think about it. Maybe I can come next time with some more concrete ideas, but think about it. Because when you drive in from 1 and 9 and you start to head to Tremley, the only thing missing there is the tumbleweeds at night. It's dark. There's a lot of emptiness, a lot of businesses that have been empty since I've moved there. And I don't see anybody looking to rent them. I don't even see signs for offering to rent them. So it's a concern to me. I do like it there, though. It's convenient. You have a lot going for you. Your connections to all your major roads and rail, the shopping center is a tremendous thing. You don't have that in other towns, that convenience right there. Maybe there's something needs to be done to emphasize that area or something. But I appreciate the time, and everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I need a motion to close the public comments.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the public comments and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed? Yes. Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Anybody from the council, mayor, anybody wants to speak? You want to say something, mayor? Anybody else? Mr. Roman? Ms. Cosby?
They don't know.
Okay. Mayor?
Yes, I just forgot to mention something. On December 1st, we'll be having breakfast with Santa. It'll be from 8 o'clock to 11 at the JTG Center. I'd like to thank the people who are responsible for putting this all together. That's Sandy Jackson, Rebecca Titoli, the Mayor's Youth Commission, the FMBA 34 and FMBA 234. And I'd like to also remind people if they'd like to donate toys for children from the age of 1 to 12 years of age, you can bring it to my office, Firehouse 4, Linden Launch, or the Northville Bank. I'd like to also address the gentleman who mentioned about the residency requirements that we have established here in Linden. I don't know where you grew up at, sir. I've been in Linden all my life. My grandfather came here in 1926. So I know what Linden was, I know what it is, and I know what it can be. And if it were up to me, I'd make sure that everyone who worked in this town lived here. That'd be police and fire, and teachers and janitors in the schools, everybody. Because I know when I was growing up in this town, they all did. And when I went to the supermarket, I saw my teachers. When I went to the supermarket, I saw janitors. When I signed up for PAL, I was coached by police and firemen. I played side by side with their children, and we got a chance to know each other and appreciate each other. We were a community back then. We still are, and I long for the days that we can get back to doing things the way we used to do. When everybody who worked here we all knew each other, we worked with each other, and we pulled this town forward together. And I think that we've lost that. The only way we're ever going to get it back is we keep our employees here in town. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'm sure most of the dais, if not all of it, is in full agreement with you, Mayor.
Oh, and I'm sorry, and one last thing to the gentleman who was talking about that area down Linden. Well, again, when we came here in 1926, we came to the corner of 16th Street and Wood Avenue. I lived the first 8 years of my life on Southwood Avenue. My grandmother lived there until she passed. And I will say this, at one time there was a lot of industry down there, and there was a tremendous interest. There was not a vacant apartment nor a vacant storefront. So hopefully, as we continue to turn the town around and we bring back these the warehousing and the other industry as it returns to town, hopefully we'll see a resurgence of people moving into that area, and we'll see the business community reestablish itself in that area. So that's our hope, and that's what we're striving for, a better Linden, and we'll get there if we keep trying. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was the longest 1 minute I ever seen.
That was a Henry Mack minute. Councilman Enrollment.
Thank you, Council President. Ed, if you go back to April and March 2014, I was standing right at that podium, almost saying identically what you were saying, but I was then speaking to Mayor Grabunka at the time about the requirements of what should be for the business administrator and the need for it. I mean, identically. And I'm going to send you to the clip because it's identical. So there's like 700 foreclosures in this city, 600, 700 foreclosures. I agree with the mayor 100% as the industry does come back. I mean, this city basically never got over its divorce from GM for a long time, and they weren't ready for it. And the industry is coming back, and when these people get high-paying jobs in these warehousing and whatever or not, they're going to look to buy those homes. And whatever we can do to help that situation, we will. If you're having a problem with illegal apartments or whatnot, you got to call construction code. Call construction code, get to know those guys. Those guys do their jobs. They're awesome in there. So give them a chance, give them a call and talk with them. I also wanted just to say one last thing, how easygoing this meeting is, given the attendance. And I hope we can go forward with that.
Thank you,
Council
Councilman.
President. Did I go over my time? I apologize.
Yes, minute 12.
He let everybody go over, so I'm gonna do the same thing.
No, you're not.
Oh.
You got 20 seconds.
Stop.
Ms. Cosby,
So,
you go.
The Veterans Program, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but I know it was an awesome program, and I was grateful that it did come. I know it was talked about last year. And the only concern that I had about it was that as a member of council, I had no idea about the application process. So when I say to you that Lee Roper, who's still alive, didn't have an opportunity to do an application, and Donald Givens Sr., who's still alive and didn't have an opportunity, and then Marshall Parker, who didn't have an opportunity. These men were all recognized in the Fifth Ward program for Black History and, acknowledging their service, but they didn't have an opportunity. So, hopefully, we will get the information so that we can share that with our veteran neighbors, men and women, so that, they may have an opportunity for next year to be recognized. I know that Councilman Brown also mentioned women's history, and I don't know if he's going to take the ball and run with that, but it should be clear that Councilwoman Marquita is going to be the first council president female. And so we don't want to, forget who's in our community who's still here and who could be recognized. So if we're going to do women's history, and if Councilman Brown doesn't want to do it, I'll ask him when I see him, then maybe, maybe somebody else. I don't want to do it. But, it's a thing for us so that we can recognize those in our community who are still here. Also, the business administrator is a big thing for me, and you can't get your car insurance renewed every year, Mr. Kaminsky, without them checking your credit. And so I agree, but unfortunately our ordinance does not require specific education, nor does it say, but I mean, it makes sense just in the hiring practices. So I agree with that 100%. However, because there was tonight introduced a chief of staff for the office of the mayor, which is a part-time position according to the thing, you probably won't ever see a business administrator, at least not in the next 4 years, because now there's a secretary, an aide, and now a chief of staff part-time for $45,000. And we also pay a public publicity guy. All of that lives in the mayor's office. Meanwhile, we do need a business administrator. I believe that in my heart to run the city. And the last thing I want to say about residency.
Your time is up.
I could care less about residency. How about that? They can live wherever they want because then they don't have to treat us.
Thank you, Ms. Cosby. The following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, December 17th, 2018, at 6 p.m. in the Council Conference Room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting, Tuesday, December 18th, at 6 p.m. in the Council Conference Room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, the 18th, at 7 p.m. in the Council Chamber, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Cosby?
Yes.
Roman?
Aye.
Strano? Yes. Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Everybody have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Meeting adjourned.